Hurricane Matthew made its presence known here in Charleston 4 days ago. Now it's time for cleanup and recovery. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Channel 4 Chief Meteorologist Dave Williams to talk about what's next for Charleston. You know, Hurricane Matthew paid a visit to Charleston 4 days ago. And actually, the Post-Inquirer had a headline Sunday that says, Hurricane Matthew roars and then unravels. I'm wondering, if you were to write a headline right now, what would that be?
Hurricane Matthew, close call, but we survived. We made it through.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks for me. The PD region will
continue to flood.
McClellanville was very
lucky.
Edisto Beach took a
hard hit.
The Battery took a
whole bunch of water. A whole bunch of water.
Yes, I
spilled in.
You read about that because like I told you earlier, I walked down to South Battery on Saturday and there was nothing but mud on my running shoes.
Oh yeah.
So that's true. The storm surge produced
about the same as Hugo in downtown Charleston, but I know that surge was a lot higher. Edisto Beach, Hunting, Fripp Island, Hilton Head, they got hit a lot worse than we did here in Charleston.
September 25th. I know a lot of meteorologists in this particular market tracked Hurricane Matthew. And I'm wondering, what was that moment that told you that we would not be missing this particular storm?
Well, it was one we had to watch from the very beginning, because if you look back at the historical paths of other storms,
right,
it looked exactly the same as Hazel in '54.
Right.
Hurricane Hazel came on shore right near the Little River on the North-South Carolina border. So honestly, this storm, it ended up, I'd say that's about 70, 75 miles south where it made landfall. Wow. So pretty close.
Yes, indeed. The evacuation, you know, a lot of people are praising Governor Haley for her implementing the reversal plan on I-26. I'm wondering, as you said it right now, Dave, what letter grade would you give her as far as performance?
I would probably give her an A-, B+, somewhere right in that range. And with those evacuations, I think that's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because the people that got out, they say, oh, nothing happened, but they got out, and yes, nothing happened. If they would have been here, they would have been in harm's way. So honestly, I think it's firmly in that A- category. Got on it quick.
Right.
People listened, and nobody in the low country died.
Thank God.
What do we have now? 30, 40, I think it's right around 40 deaths.
Right.
None of those are in the low country, so people took it seriously here.
Speaking of which, hunkering down. I just told you.
My hunkering was right there, about 10 feet to the left of us.
For how many hours?
I don't know. I was on the air for 26 hours straight.
Yeah, I was watching for most of that time because our power stayed on in downtown Charleston. And through the grace of God, everything was fine, no damage, no flooding. Looking back to now, that would not have been a good idea, would you say?
It's whatever anybody's comfortable with. I always tell people if they have a feeling in their gut that they're not safe somewhere, they're probably not. So get out, because you're better off to be safe than sorry. And one of the things I heard was people telling me, I can't get out because I don't have any money. I can't afford to evacuate. And that's not an excuse. Because I had people honestly on my Facebook page saying, if somebody needs a ride to a shelter, I'll come pick them up and take them to a shelter. And we have buses that go to shelters. Right. There's no excuse not to evacuate. This has nothing to do with money. It's all about people want to stay in their houses so bad. It reminds me a lot of my grandparents. They never ever wanted to leave their house. You could say there's a tornado, there's a hurricane coming right at your house. Right. They'd probably stay. So if you want to get out, you can get out. But if you don't want to get out, I can't tell people what to do or what not to do. Right. I can only tell you what I think you should do.
That's right. You know, we have Weather, Julia, Hermine, and now, of course, Matthew. But as we sit it right now, I hate to ask this, but what's that next storm in your mind that you say we got to keep an eye on?
Fortunately, not Nicole. Nicole's out there in the middle of nowhere. And now, Quintin, the water temperatures have dropped so much, and we even saw that with Matthew. Once it passed North Florida, it really started to make a transition into more of a non-tropical storm. It was still a hurricane, but it got over that cooler water, about 76 degrees.
Right.
And it really started to lose some of its tropical characteristics. So right now our water's about 72 degrees. at this point, I'm not concerned with the tropical system, but we're always watching.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully it's not going to be anytime soon. But this was a good reminder that this area is prone to tropical systems. This was the biggest hit we took since Hurricane Hugo, which was in 1989.
Right.
So we've had some close calls, and this one really could have been worse. I'm glad it wasn't any worse.
Meteorologist Dave Williams, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Anytime, my friend. It's always good to see you, Quintin, and thanks for what you do in the community.
We appreciate it. I appreciate it.